Yo, what is up, everyone? Therapy Without a Degree. I think Ryan said this was chapter 284.
284.
284. You guys already know. Joe Figurino's in the house, in the studio. We got my guy, Zain.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
You're looking different today. I don't know what it is. What
no
is
hoodie
it?
today.
It's no hoodie, Zain.
No hoodie, Zain. And I'm not wearing an
and
orange
you're
hat.
not wearing the orange hat. And you're not wearing the straps.
No, I'm not.
It's very different Zain today. It's very different.
Yeah, right. This is a sore Zain that went to the gym. This is what that Zain is.
Yeah, I'm sore too, man. I did like these barbell back squats for the first time.
You're gonna be looking fucking Aki by the end of the fucking summer.
Hopefully, man. If you know the universe cooperates.
No, it will.
Exactly.
I don't do if will.
I like it.
Win.
I like it. We got to speak it into existence.
Absolutely.
Oh, and I know what's different about you too. The beard's kind of low. You shaved.
Yeah, I brought the beard
yeah.
down. Yeah.
When we were on the Zoom, I was like, damn, this guy took it down.
Yeah, I did. I only took it down because I had to even it out, and I don't have a big enough clip to do that. So I said the one that's the longest is what I had, and that was it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had that episode. Then we had Desiree and Ryan take over last week.
Right now, the takeover, and that was dope.
Yeah, we had to get back on. It was funny. I was here before setting up the pod, and Jay was like, "You gonna go on today or what?"
Right? Like
she's like, "You haven't been on the pod in a while." I was like, "Nah, man, we gotta let let everyone live a little bit. We gotta get these guys. We gotta get JoJo on the camera next. He's next. He's next up. Him and Avi.
I might have a third camera. It's gonna be looking down,
right there,
like right over there.
Nah.
Yeah. It was like camera 4.
you know what's crazy though is because I was gonna have the week that you and Javi both couldn't make it. Y'all were gonna be on. I forget it was. It was you. Yeah, so that was it. That was their original plan, was to have you guys, and I think Ryan and Desiree somehow. I was gonna try to get all y'all on the behind the scenes crew.
It's like that's the whole podcast. It's like the opposite side.
Yeah, it's just the
opposite. Like, what's going on? Just leave it like that the whole time. See if they notice.
But we back, yo. We back. And I said to Jen, I was like, it wasn't gone that long. 2 episodes, right?
I feeling like 2 weeks is like 14 days. That's half the month.
Yeah, no, the time goes. And then actually, there was the one episode that I took off half the episode and let Desiree swap in.
Right.
But I'm telling you, sometimes you just need that female's perspective.
That's it. Just to change it up a bit, you know what I'm saying? Because we might see something differently that we would never have even thought about. You're like, oh no, hey, when you go to the parking lot, you're not you move differently. You're like, I'm going to my car, and that's it.
Yeah.
When a woman goes to the parking lot, there's so many things going in their head, and it's like survival mode. It's not the same. So it's like it's good to hear a certain perspective that like it gives us a better chance to understand both sides of the story. You know.
Mm. Yeah, and she's been killing it too. We got to get her on camera more often.
Yeah.
Like I said, at least her, I'm telling you, we're going to get at least Ryan on once a month, Des on once a month. We're going to switch it up out here. You're not going to come to the pod and you just never know going to know who's on.
We got to go to the city next.
Yeah, we got to do another day out there. We got to do another throwback Failure Thursday or just pop up on them, ask them some questions.
Right.
The weather now is finally cooperating.
So now we just got to hit the moment it gets to springtime. Just head out there.
Yeah, I'm with that, man.
Dropping content. How you feel about that Katt Williams thing? Because we ain't talk about it.
About what? Katt going on?
Just going off on people, just exposing.
I love it.
Just
I love it. I'm a big Katt Williams fan.
Like, we have comedy beef now. I mean, it's not that now, but it's just like I've never thought I would see the day. Like, you always heard like music artist beef and all that, and that was the biggest thing. But now we're talking comedy beef, which is like I never thought that would be a thing that would be publicized. Like, but Katt Williams saying what he's saying. Do you feel like most of it was valid? Like, out of the 100%, like how much percent of the stuff that he said you believe is true?
Probably 60.
60. Golly, what's the?
What's up?
Definitely some lies in there.
Oh yeah, probably. But either way though, man, he knows what he's.
Ran like something in like a few seconds.
Like a 4.
40 and like.
Yeah. I was like, all right, Katt, come on, you got to chill.
I mean, you know, he talked about everything but getting his butt whooped by a 12-year-old, but that's another story. Like, it's interesting that he's just air. But not to say I don't believe him, but he is valid when he talks about, like, he does fund his own shows. Like, think about it. Like, and you know he writes his own jokes.
Yeah.
Like, you can't tell me you look at Katt Williams, you're like, somebody writes your jokes.
Nah.
Who writes his jokes?
Nah.
I need to meet that person. Like that, like people didn't know. Like Richard Pryor had Paul Mooney was his writer, right? So we all thought it was just Richard Pryor, but it really wasn't just Richard Pryor. So it's just interesting that we have like these big time people, and like they had writers. But then when you find out a comedian doesn't have no writers, you're like, damn.
Has some ghostwriters.
Yeah, Kevin Hart has like 5.
I bet.
Yeah, and they all open for him, and then he performs at the end.
And then little do they know that's their
But here's the thing. He said at this point, the agreement probably was like, hey, if we write for you as long as you get us paid by us performing too, and we want, you know, our recognition. But he does. There's like it's not as publicized that they write for him, but like the Paper Cup crew, they write for Kevin. For Kevin Hart.
Yeah, it's interesting, man. It was definitely it was a really good interview. Especially if you're a fan of Katt Williams, just hearing him talk and hearing him just chop it up about different things was really cool. Especially because normally when you hear him, it's, you know, super comedy. He's just on his bit,
right?
But for this, just to hear him how he thinks and
be real,
yeah. Like
it was just interesting. Like I had to look back at like what he was talking about because I wanted to fact check on my own accord, and I'm like, oh shit, my man's really like. He's right. Like I looked, the interview he was talking about where the radio host was like kind of trying to play him out and whatnot. And then I go back to the interview because, you know, you hear him say, you know, that's one perspective. She really was coming for his life. And he was just there to promote, I think, Atlanta at the time. And she was just gunning for him and saying, oh, like just kind of belittling him. And I'm like, wow. So when you hear the backstory that he went on there thinking that she was going to be there to be supportive and help him in a positive way, for her to just throw him under the bus, you could see on his face where he's looking at her like, I can't believe you just did that. You know what I'm saying? Though it's just so. Like, I always tell people, if you're going to listen to people and they, like, just dish out and expose, make sure you do your own research because you can't always believe everything people are saying. Even if they've been on a straight route of telling the truth, always do your own research.
you got to fact check.
Yeah, you got to fact check. A lot of people, they be just hearing it from that one person. Oh, it's true. Like, did you, like, do some research on that? We don't know, man. We don't know.
Let's see. I'm ready for a special to come out though. That's what I'm ready for.
That's great promo.
This interview and shit is cool. Yeah,
it's still number one. Like there's no other. Like people try to like get close to it. No one got anywhere close to Katt Williams. Not by a long shot. Nobody's talking about anything else.
Yeah, because we all love Katt. We know it's going to come from a genuine place.
Right.
What I wanted to get into today, we actually have like two different things. I got one that I thought of. One was brought to us by Jay. All
Sweet.
Right. Yeah, so we got it. Pretty cool. I thought it was pretty interesting and it makes sense, especially coming from like her age. But it was like, you know, why do you, especially for kids, you know how like she was like normally that you would assume that if someone doesn't respect you, that you shouldn't give them respect. She was like, but in school and shit, it don't matter. Like kids are supposed to just give respect either way.
To the teacher?
Yeah. Like no matter what. Like if they don't like you or not, you're just supposed to automatically give them respect.
And the question was like should that be a
or just I guess like is that or is that valid? Do you agree with it? Should it be changed?
No, it's gonna be the same. The reason why I'm gonna say that is school has been designed for you to go to work. That's it. Like we, as much as we want to talk about, oh yeah, it's meant to prepare you for the, you know, the real world. That's the real world is going to work. And you have a manager that you don't like, you have to respect them.
Yeah.
Like there's like you don't have to like kiss their ass, but you have to learn how to be cordial with the person in charge. You have to learn how to be subordinate, and that's what school teaches you. You know, if you're in a job, you can't be el jefe because there's somebody above you. And if you don't listen to them, then how are you going to move up the chain? You know what I'm saying? Like, so when you're in school, it's the same thing. It's just a kind of like a softer version. Because in the military, you need to understand that. With school, it's kind of like you have the illusion that you have that wiggle room. But then when you graduate, you have to listen to your employer. You know what I'm saying? And you have a choice to work there or not. But if you're trying to pay bills, you're going to have to, sometimes they tell you, like, take it to the chin. You know what I'm saying? But, like, you don't have to respect them in your world, like respect, but you just have to be cordial with them until you find another space that you can feel safe in. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So with us, when we're in school, we had to, it was like doing like a sentence. Like you couldn't do nothing. Like until you were 18, until you graduated, that's when you were free. But until then, you were like, damn, I got to listen to this teacher, like just chastise me, or you could switch your class. But then if you switch your class, you're going to have to switch other things around your schedule. Yeah. And are you willing to do that for that one teacher? But in life, you got to learn to like, hey, you got to learn how to accept it and learn how to, what's the word, the phrase they said, you have to learn how to respond to the situation and not let the situation dictate you. You have to understand yourself in order, like if you're in a chaotic environment, you need to be calm. You know what I'm saying? You got to teach yourself to be calm because if you're chaotic, you're not thinking straight. So it's like, it's good practice, but it's forced practice. And I feel like there's a lot of things in school that can possibly change to help students be a little more independent and learn how to give respect and learn when to be cordial with a teacher or a student that's really not reciprocating. Because we get very combative, when someone disrespects us, and there's other ways around that. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, I don't fuck with you no more, so, I don't have to, like, disrespect you. I'm not going to talk to you or share my energy. As simple as that. Now, if you constantly chastise me and keep talking to me, then that's where the combativeness comes into play. So if there's situations like that, there's the disrespect, then that's when you have to handle it to the upper and maybe talk to, like, the administration, like, yo, this teacher is bothering me and it's a problem.
Yeah. It's like reading the room.
Is it reading the room? Like, just like in management, like if you have a manager that's overstepping their boundaries, you got to talk to the higher up and like, homeboy is not respecting me and it's actually hindering my work because I don't feel safe here. So then management takes care of that. And that's what you'll learn in school. You know what I'm saying? But we don't be teaching our kids that, oh, if this situation happens, then we could talk to other people and if your parents and in fact, administration to come to a resolve. Because I had a situation like that, but I ended up leaving that class because he was just, one, dude was racist, and two, he was just an asshole. So both of those, I was just like, fam. And it was also hindering my work too because if I needed help, I wasn't getting help. So then I couldn't really operate. So now I'm getting chastised for failing. I was like, man, I'll just take another class. What else is available? You know what I'm saying? And even the vice principal is like, listen, I see you're a good kid. We'll handle it. Don't worry about it. And then that was it. But like if I were to respond in that situation where I just got up and just punched the teacher in the face, like there's consequences that follow. You know what I'm saying? You can't. If you like, school is gonna have a different rules, right? You're gonna get suspended or expelled, whatever the case may be. In life, after that, if you did that to your manager, you're going to jail. So you got to learn how to really internalize yourself and find that inner peace, because it's not gonna change as you get older. Like people aren't gonna get soft around you. It's always gonna be sporadic. So in school we deal with like a smaller population. And then when we get to the outside world, now we're dealing with the general public so anything goes. So you just gotta really just be mentally prepared to deal with people's shit at work.
Yeah. I definitely agree, man. I think, again, it comes with a lot of reading the room. And then it's also like, yo, in life, you very not often are you going to be respected as you should. And I think it also goes with, like, one of the things that I'm always talking about and maybe, you know, talking with people close to me and just like my beliefs is, you don't always have to go tit for tat. You know, just because someone does one thing to you, that's just in general. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to always go tit for tat. Just because someone disrespects you, that don't mean you got to be disrespectful back. I always try to be the bigger person. You know, and it's hard when emotions come into play. It's tough, yo. Sometimes even still to this day, you know, you get out of character for a second, but then you guys gotta try to switch it back. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, you always gotta keep it genuine. You know, think about your character. Don't matter if you're young, if you're in school still, if you're a teenager, you're a little older than that, you're a preteen. Try to think about your character in the situation, and remember that you don't always have to go tit for tat. I think that's a very, like, fight or flight mentality. You know, I think they say.
I was in training today in a program, and they were saying, like, verbally, when you're trying to de-escalate a situation, don't pick up the rope of tug of war. I forgot the quote. I'm gonna find it though. But essentially, it's like, if you're dealing with like a combative person and they're trying to argue with you, don't pick up the rope, because now you're playing tug of war and it's going nowhere. Yeah. You know, you gotta learn how to let that person, like, calm down and just say nothing. They say the method is just to wait. I'm just like, tell somebody to wait when they're in a combative state of mind. You're like, damn, I gotta do what? But they're just running their mouth and wait. Just wait.
I had that, yo, the other day, like literally 2 days ago. I had a friend of mine and someone I do business with, like, cursing me out, screaming, yelling, because they don't know how to handle their emotions. You know what I'm saying? Like, right. It's just ridiculous. And I'm like, if I would have been, you know, just reacting to that, because that's disrespect at the end of the day,
right,
bro, we would have been done. You know what I'm saying? Like, we would have been done. It would have ended. But, yo, sometimes you just have to, like, let them get their stuff off. And then eventually they realize, yo, they apologize, and they realize I was out of character, I messed up, and they apologize. But if we would have went tit for tat in that moment, she would have been so left.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so sometimes you really just need to, and also people forget, like, we're all going through stuff that no one knows nothing about. So it's like, if you get disrespect from somebody, I think sometimes, and this is no matter what your age is, if you're in high school, if you're a little older, I think at the end of the day, and this is tough because this is when your character really gets, you know, tested. You have to think about, yo, did I deserve that respect? Did I not? Are they just having a bad day? Sometimes people are just having a bad day. Unfortunately, in life, yo, the person before you that walked in that room could have pissed them off. And unfortunately, in life, sometimes you might just get a shit end of the stick.
Right.
And then it's in your power to not let that affect you and let you to read the room and read the situation. Sometimes it was you. Sometimes you got to hold yourself accountable. You know, like, did you do something to cause the disrespect?
Right.
You know, and if you didn't, like, maybe they're having a hard day. Maybe they're having a hard time. Maybe they just don't understand you. But obviously, like, and it also comes from that place of, like, you know, I think a lot of, like, parents and maybe even the younger generation, a lot of people are always just like, oh, you can't let no one disrespect you. You always got to speak up for yourself. You always got to do this. You always got to do that. Sometimes it ain't that deep.
Right. Sometimes
things ain't always like a beef. You know, sometimes things ain't always like an argument. Sometimes it could be just maybe like a miscommunication. Like, you just, you know, you don't know what it is. But I think sometimes people are very, very quick to take something as disrespect or take something emotional. And I think you just need to sit and just read the room, you know?
Right. Some people don't even know how to do that. It's just like, how often, if you're someone who is not around people, right? You know, people who are like more so like the loners, right? You don't have a lot of people to really talk to. You start to, we talk to a lot of different people all the time. So it's not that we're like extroverts or anything like that, is that we learn different communication styles because we've talked to so many people. But if you have people who haven't talked to a lot of people and they stayed with that same kind of group for maybe X amount of years, they only got that one talking style, which is it's not really adaptive. So if you might say certain things that might offend them and they get combative, but that's the kind of behavior that would have played out well with one of their friends, but then you might take it as like kind of offensive. Like, why did you say it in that type of like a sharp tone? You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like it could have been said a little like softer, you know, not to say that, you know, I'm trying to tell you how to say anything, but like, it's like there's a method. It's either you're talking sharp or you're talking soft. You know what I'm saying? And people, they don't know the difference between the two, and they mix it up. But like, you know, like you can't really say, hey, like, hey man, is it possible that I could borrow your keys so I could go to the bank? Versus saying, let me borrow your keys so I can go to the bank.
Yeah, that tone makes a big difference.
It makes a big difference. Plus, it's like how you say it to the person. It's like you have to learn the difference. So if you're always talking sharp to your friends and you don't know the difference between that softness in between, that's where the problems happen. You're like, well, I'm doing A with all the different letters, but A works with A, but A doesn't work with B. You know what I'm saying? You're doing the same. You're not learning the different alphabets or the different like combinations, and you're putting yourself in a very, what's the word? You kind of like it makes it seem like you're not really adaptive, and you're just kind of just saying whatever, and you're not reading the room, and that's what it kind of looks like. You're like, why are you talking so loud in the library? You know what I'm saying? Like, we have those situations that maybe we just need to talk to more people, not to talk more, but just to talk to different people.
Yeah,
you know, that's what I've learned, because I've always talked a certain way, and I realize now I have different styles of just communicating, just in general.
of course, yeah. With everybody, you're gonna communicate different, and that goes even back to kind of like how you opened it. And again, it's sometimes it's as simple as this, especially with like, you know, with this particular topic of like being with high school. It's like, yo, at the end of the day, sometimes you ain't gonna like it, and sometimes it ain't gonna be fair. But like you said, you have to just respect. Sometimes you have to respect your elders. You have to respect the people that are in charge. It don't matter if you like, you know, and it comes down to even like you said, as you get older, like your boss, your job, shit, your landlord. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, or you know, people that are higher up than you, or even sometimes more successful than you.
Right.
You know, I think it's you know, you're not weak for adapting in those. And I think sometimes people, even maybe the younger generation, think that they just need to, like, you see these videos and you see content on social media where it's like younger people are
complaining about simple things like, do you believe they're making us do blank? And you're just like, yeah, that's just how it's been. That's how it is. You know what I'm saying? The respect is supposed to be something that's that traditional sense where you must respect your elders. But obviously, if they're not respecting you, then you now shift to being cordial. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. It doesn't mean that you stoop to their level and be immature. You know what I'm saying? That's where the maturity comes into play. So you really can't give them that same energy of disrespect, because that doesn't help your character.
Not at all.
It doesn't. So you prove to them that you are mature by speaking. Like, if they're shouting, yelling, you respond in their respective tone. And then they'll be like, damn, I'm out here just disrespecting, doing all this. And it makes them think like, who am I talking to? Maybe I need to chill out. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it helps them reevaluate the situation.
Right.
Like, even like, yo, when you get older, like if you get like pulled over, right, you know, and the cops could just disrespect in your eyes as being disrespectful. You
know damn well you're not going to be.
What are you going to do? No, but sometimes I feel like this generation might. And that's the scary part. That's how people end up getting like, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
Dangerous shit starts end up.
Look what this cop's trying to do to me. Yeah. But I'm like, what are you doing?
It's a balance of, I think, because, you know, it's like about everyone wants to think that they're equal.
Right.
And yeah, like as much as we want to like, you know, talk about and spread like, you know, everyone, we're all equal and things like that. We all have human rights and this and that. But at the end of the day, there has to be some just like focus and remembrance that sometimes in situations you're not equal to them.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like you're not. Like if you're talking to your boss in a conversation, you know, like yeah, you both are equally human and all these other beautiful different things.
Right.
But in that moment,
In that space.
And yeah, and I don't know what you would call, what's the word for it, but you're
Right.
you're not equal.
No.
You're not.
Just
That
like
is your
if you're,
that is your boss, that is your employer. You have to give them respect.
right. Just like you're in someone's house. Like that's their house that they're in charge of. So you need to do X, Y, Z. That's like someone going into your house and saying, yeah, I'm going to rearrange your whole house. No, you're not. This is my house. What do you mean? Like, and that's it's almost the equivalent. So you can't really just think that because you're both equal in terms of being human, that y'all have the same right. Within that space, they run things. And that's what needs to be understood. When you're in school, you're in that space where the teachers, the administration, they run things, but their purpose is to help you. That's it. But if it comes off where their purpose doesn't seem like it's helping you, then that's when you could, don't be disrespectful, but take it to the next step.
Of course, because then I definitely don't want to give people. I don't want to give the impression of
right.
like, oh well,
just respect them anyway.
Yeah, no, like there are certain, but that's again why you need to read the room, because there's obviously when things get to a point where you would question it to know if that is like abuse, if that's over the top, if it is something and that's some things you have to gauge.
We need classes on that.
Yeah, like there's not going to be a pinpoint thing. But that's why sometimes you do need to very, very in tune. And then ask yourself, if you feel like a few times after a while, you feel like you're being, targeted, and you feel like you're being disrespected on purpose, and you feel like it's an individual thing, and you feel like it's, not something that you deserve, honestly, like you have to be real with yourself, then it gets to a point where like, okay, no. Like obviously you don't want to wait too long,
right?
Because you don't want to because then that's when, maybe it is some like real abuse or something like that. Verbal, because I believe, verbal abuse is a thing.
Absolutely.
Or being, like so many other different ways. So it's like, you don't want to completely, I'm not saying everything, you just got to take, but that fine line in between, and you got to be able to read it. You got to be able to just think about it. And maybe if you don't know, ask other people. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's okay if you don't know and you're still learning on how to gauge it. It's okay to ask. Maybe not ask someone your age, because they're just going to maybe see it on how you see it. Maybe ask someone a little bit older.
Right. How would you handle this situation?
Yeah, like, is this normal? Like, is this, is this a little over the top? Is that person just having a bad day? Is it targeted, to me?
Right. No, it is helpful when you ask, and especially if you have a mentor, or if you even if you like try to seek a mentor. But there's certain things that we see like, oh, I thought that was right, and they're like, oh, well, you are in the right direction, but let's modify it a bit. You know what I'm saying? Let's optimize what you're going at, because sometimes people think they're expected to respond in a certain way. Like if somebody disrespects you, you might have conditioned yourself to respond like in a combative way, because everyone else you see around you has done the same thing, and maybe they were successful at it. Where like they were combative and then the other person was submissive, and then that's how they solved the problem. So then if you see that, you're like, oh, well, that means that if I'm disrespected and I do that, then I resolve the problem. But that's not the way we're supposed to do it. And I feel like we see that and we're like, okay, well, that's how I've seen it be solved all the time, with more violence. So I need to dish out more violence. It's when you see it when you're older, you're like, damn, I could handle that differently.
Yeah.
So that's why I be trying to tell my cousins sometimes, because I'm like, damn, I'm seeing myself in them. I was like, no, there's a different way of approaching it. You know what I'm saying? Like we could do it like this instead. And I feel like sometimes we, as family, we're supposed to help each other, guide each other, and we're so busy with other people's drama that I feel like we lost that kind of that system of what family was meant to do. You know what I'm saying? You got mentors within your family.
Exactly.
They could help you out. You could ask them questions.
Or other people if you don't.
Or other
that,
people if you don't want to ask family, because most of the time you don't want to put your business out there. Yeah. So then you don't ask family.
There's platforms like this, or online, or counselors, or any vice versa. There's a lot of different situations. But I also want to let people know too, like, there's a lot of people out there who will just give you respect off jump. But a lot of people, though, respect has to be
Earned.
Yeah. Like, I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to earn the respect. And sometimes for a good amount of time. You know what I'm saying? Just because you say, with a smile and a nice face and you say please and thank you. No. Like, your character over time with somebody on your actions, the most littlest things that you probably don't realize, and sometimes even your posture, your aura, your energy towards the situation,
your accountability, like being accountable for your actions, also increases someone having respect for you. If you're a person that says you're gonna do something and they don't do it, how are you convincing me that I potentially can respect you if you can't even go on your word? And that's certain things like that. People see that and like, okay, this guy's on it. He does exactly what he says. He shows up on time. Blah blah. So it's like just certain things that people be doing that you earn respect based on your credentials, on the visuals. Like, okay, they're really putting it out there. They're consistent. Okay, this is someone I could respect. Yeah. There's some you haven't even met them yet. Like if I met Denzel, like I respect him. I never met him. But I see his work. I see his ethics. I hear him talk. I'm like, I respect him. Yeah. Because he's on it.
But then it goes the other way, too, because then if you met him in real life...
It might change.
And things... Yeah, because then you would see... Maybe, you would see things, and you'd be like, nah, that changes it because of the actions.
Right.
So, I think that was interesting. I think that was a really interesting topic. I have something else I wanted us to get into.
Oh, shit.
Before we close up. This might be a little deep for some people, but fucking, I think I'm going to ask everybody. What's up?
15 minutes left, basically.
Oh, okay. Where are we at right now? How long?
34.
Oh, okay. All right. Not bad. I'm going to ask the room. We'll ask Zain first. Do you feel like, how old are you?
33.
33. In your 33 years of life, being completely honest, do you feel like you have felt the feeling of being loved?
Felt the feeling of being loved. Now, a deeper question is loving yourself, but that'll be another episode. But for you got.
That's kind of what we were talking about, like with Sean,
right?
Like, you know what I mean, the self-love thing. But no, like you feeling love from somebody,
right? I felt love like a couple times. But it always gets skewed, but that's when you have to stop yourself. Because I remember I had an advisor years ago, and I went through a breakup, and she said, don't worry about the things that happened. Or, like, don't try to demoralize the good moments that you had. Just leave those alone and just move forward. Because if you do that, you start erasing all the things that were good and genuine at that moment. So just let it be, and then just move forward from there, because then you'll start to like regret, and when you regret, you feel like you've never been loved. So don't erase those moments, because you might have been loved for that moment in time, and it was genuine until it wasn't. You know what I'm saying? So to answer that, I did feel love, and I feel like I feel like I now understand, because there's times where I didn't understand that I've been loved, but I think that was the issue. It was like not understanding what that was on a consistent basis, because I was dealing with inconsistency of like what love was based on what you've done. Like it wasn't unconditional. It was always a conditional love. Like if you do X, Y, Z, then you shall get love. And that's why it was like kind of fluctuating. I was like, I don't know what it is, because apparently it was based on my actions. So like I felt that like when my grandma was alive, I felt unconditional love. So when she had passed, it was conditional love that I got. And then like being in a relationship was inconsistent. So then when I got a dog, that was like, it was perfect, because it was more consistency. Like, every time he sees me, he gets happy. And, that's something that I needed, because I was constantly feeding into my life, like, conditional love instead of unconditional love. Like, when something happens, like, oh, now I'm not in love with you.
Yeah.
Like, what it's supposed to be like, you could be upset with the person, but to put that as like a bargaining chip for your, like, with your love is like fucking toxic as shit. You know what I'm saying? It's either you love me or you don't. Like, you can't just be like, I love you. I don't. You didn't take out the garbage. I don't love you. Oh, you took out the garbage? I love you. Like, that will fuck you up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It makes you feel like the only way I could earn love is if I do things. And that's when now I understand the difference between the two, and I now can navigate a little better. So now it's like I know what love feels like on a consistent basis, and I know what it feels like when it's when it's conditional and when it's unconditional. So I know the difference between the two. I prefer the unconditional. You know what I'm saying? Just the consistency. Just like anytime, like you could have done this, but you still love that person. You might be disappointed, but you still love them. You know? So that's why I veer my life towards more so, instead of dealing with I'm using it as like a bargaining chip, you know? So that's what I feel. But yeah, it is tough to think about that. It was like, damn, dude, was I? And that I have to separate the two. How much of the unconditional versus the conditional?
I'm really asking the unconditional.
The unconditional. Yeah, I think I've gotten more of that with like family, friends, and like significant other of the years. But it wasn't like a lot. So it was like I could count that like on my hand. But other than that, like it is scarce. It's not. You get conditional love from people like, yeah, I love your work. That's it.
But that unconditional love, that shit's just different.
That's different, and you know you have to make sure you keep those people close.
Yeah.
You know.
Jojo, what do you think, man? Unconditional love.
I think as a man, it's harder to.
Why?
Because I think you're usually loved. Kind of like what Zain was saying. I think people more love the idea of you. You get me? Like, you love the idea of what I bring to you. You get me? They don't love the person as much. You get me?
So you think maybe people were conditioned to only
Like,
love people?
As a man, you usually... Like, of course, there's unconditional love. Like, you know, your mom, like you were saying, your grandparents, stuff like that.
Right.
I think for the most part as a man, you're loved under the condition that you provide something.
Right.
Whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like you provide something to them.
Now, but
I would love to hear what Desiree would have to say about this.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we need a snip on that.
But now, can you answer that question? Is it a yeah or no? Do you feel like you have gotten unconditional love? No, just
Like friends or family
whatever.
or like significant other.
anything.
Yeah. Like I would say,
Like confidently.
my grandparents, I think, unconditionally love me.
Okay.
My mother.
Ryan?
Yeah, I would say yes.
Yeah?
I would say that I have a lot of good people that give me unconditional love.
That was good.
Definitely my parents.
Yeah.
They see me through it all. They let me, like definitely. They
That was
definitely
good.
love me
It's good to think about. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes we don't think about these things.
Yeah, like
I
who
think if you create something, you love them like unexplainably. You get me? Like,
Yeah.
even if you see like murders and all this like crazy stuff, like their mom, their grandma will be in that courtroom. You get me? Like
supporting them.
no matter what you do, the actions you do, they'll always have a unexplainable love for you. You get me?
And that's deep. That's deep right there. And it's like it's like when you ask the question, how many people do you think in your life, like if you were to visualize them in your head, give you just conditional love? And then how much time do you devote to those people versus the people that
It's crazy.
that part. We spend a lot of time with people who give us conditional love instead of unconditional love. Some deep shit.
I'm going to call somebody because I put this on my story on IG and they were like, yeah, I'll do a call in. Let's see what they
And
say.
then when you call,
Hello?
Yo, what up, Jason?
Yo, what up, Joe?
We got you live on air, live on the podcast.
Hey, therapy without a degree, first class, second place. In the building.
Yes, sir. So the question we have for people tonight is, do you feel like, well, first of all, how old are you?
37.
37. So in your 37 years, can you say that you have felt unconditional love?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Not that you have loved someone else unconditionally, that you yourself have been unconditionally loved.
Aside from family?
No. Anything. Could be family.
Absolutely. Without a doubt. Without a doubt. It's funny because I actually had a conversation over the weekend. We basically, first of all, it started off rough. It wasn't a good conversation at the beginning. Some arguments, some tempers got flared, and then afterwards, tempers cooled and everything. But I think the key element there and the point was that no matter how hard we went at each other and all the trials and tribulations that we go through, the unconditional love is there, without a doubt.
Okay. Interesting. I love it.
Yeah.
All right, good shit, man. Just had to get your take on it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I do believe it's real. It's just I think what people get misled on is who they want to get the unconditional love from, and I think that's what people get unhappy about because I believe it's there and everybody has it for the most part. It's just sometimes you don't get it from the person that you expect to get it the most.
Yeah, that's real shit. That's real shit. All right. Good shit, man.
All right, man. Thanks for calling me. I appreciate it, bro.
All right, no problem.
All right, man. Talk to you later.
Peace. I'm gonna make one more call. That was a good point. I like how you broke it down though, and you said unconditional.
No, it changes everything.
Beyonce's on my sister's podcast.
You thought about this?
It was a little different. It was, are men more likely to love or unconditionally than women?
What was it?
Like my point was, men more likely love unconditionally than women.
Why you say that?
Especially nowadays, like you talk to a lot of these girls, and it's like they need you to do this, like all this stuff. You get me? But a man will take a woman at like any point in her life, you get me, and still like love her to death.
Yeah, it don't matter what she provide and not provide or nothing.
Out there, don't get me wrong, but I think more likely is a man.
Makes sense. I'm gonna call Crispy. See if we get him. No, sleeping. Try one more. Hello.
Hey, Joe.
Jack, we got you on the pod.
I don't think you could be able to hear me. I'm in the movie theater.
Oh shit. Damn, alright. You lucked out this time.
Okay. I'm sorry, guys.
What you watching over there?
I don't fucking know. It's some animated movie that I don't even understand the damn words. Like, I'm trying to keep up with the Alice here.
Alright, have fun, do your thing.
Bye.
Sound crazy.
That's hilarious. Like, yo, I don't even know what I'm watching right now. I have
Is that the
no.
Bob Marley movie?
No, it was an animated movie. She said, like,
Yeah,
she
when
said
she
she's
went
trying
with
to
her kids.
understand what's going on, and it might be a Japanese. She might be watching Demon Slayer.
Baby,
She might be watching because it's in theaters now. Because they have like a movie premiere that's going on, and if they're in the anime, she's probably watching that with them, and I can understand that because the subtitles. I get it.
That makes sense. But other than that, people, that was it. We just sit there and really, really think about it. Ask yourself that. Read the room. Ask the people that you're surrounded by too, because you never know. I I thought it was pretty interesting. I thought it was an interesting topic to think about, and especially how you broke it down like that. Like, yeah, you could be loved, but have you been unconditionally loved?
Right. And how much time do you spend with the people who give you unconditional love versus the people who give you conditional love? And I feel like we try to convert those conditional lovers into unconditional lovers by being present with them. And sometimes it's like, yo, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Either somebody's going to love you unconditionally, which you're going to eventually earn. But I think we're like, I need you to love me unconditionally. But we don't say it out loud, and we just constantly be there, and then we get frustrated. Meanwhile, the people who love us unconditionally, we go to them when we don't have the person that just checked out from us.
That's why. But sometimes I think the people that love you unconditionally, maybe they're like sliding by with that unconditional love when you are like, yo, I want you to love me for this thing that I'm doing though too.
Right. I see. You see, like it's only selective.
Like no, like I'm saying that like someone that loves you like super unconditionally, you're like, oh my god, like this is my soulmate.
Right.
Sometimes you're trying to convince that unconditional love person
right.
to love you conditionally.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Because they're just sliding by like, nah, I unconditionally love you. Like,
right.
And they do.
Right.
But you're like, but I want you to recognize this.
Right. I see what you're saying. Like, they just love you for just the love. They love you.
They do love you.
But they're not loving what you do at the same time. Oh, I see what you're saying.
I'm saying that's you could run into that, like, vertical at one point or another.
Because I love you, but just not your work. Like, can you love my work?
When you love someone unconditionally, that's why they love you conditionally.
You say because, you saying that if I love...
if I love you unconditionally...
Right.
In your head, you know, I'm going to always love you unconditionally.
Right.
So, like, you're only going to look for certain things because you know I'm going to give you love anyway. You get me?
Ah, I see what you're saying.
It's
so
like how you were saying when you're not getting the love from that person that you want to,
you go
to the one who gives you unconditional love.
Right.
So it's like maybe it's
like you like trying to fill it up again. Like I lost the supply over here, so let me go to the endless supply over here.
Someone they do that too.
Like someone could do that too.
Unconditionally, they're only coming to you when they need that love.
Oh shit, that's even deeper.
I actually think,
they got some love vampires.
Yeah. I actually think, to be honest with you, though, I think a lot of people who say they unconditionally love you don't.
Well,
I think they do.
I think like they were saying in the last podcast, love isn't a word; it's an action.
Yeah.
It's like a verb.
Yeah, it's definitely more of an action.
Exactly.
Like, I don't think you could tell. Like, you could say it, but I think you'll prove out what you do.
100%, and that's kind of my point. Like, you'll have people that will blue in the face say, "Oh, they love you, they love you, they love you," so many times, but then the actions doesn't really match it. You know what I'm saying? So you may hear that from them, like the whole "I love you, I love you, I love you," and you may gauge it off of that.
Well, I think that depends on you, though. Like me, I don't. No matter how many times you say it, I would never take what you say. I would take what you do. So
But I think
that depends on the person, on if you listen. If you listen to people, or do you watch them? You get me?
Yeah. Like, I think even people think that people think that they unconditionally love people, but it's very on the bare surface. Because you could, from the outside looking in, you could be like, nah, well, if you really unconditionally love them, this, blah, 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 this, and you would,
Yeah, I see that.
it's like we think we do, but it's like, do we really? Kind of like how you mentioned it's crazy, but like the people, like when they do crazy shit in jail or whatever, and then like their parents are there with them.
Yeah, that's unconditional.
Like that's unconditional, yo. Like that's like that top tier.
Yeah.
You know, obviously
something to
I think about. Put yourself in that position. Like, is there anything this person could do that will make me stop loving them?
Yeah.
And if the answer is there's nothing, then you love them unconditionally.
Yeah.
That is true. Like, what can it's like? If like, damn, you thinking of all different things. Like, yeah, I'd probably still love them if they did that.
Like that cross I'll still always have like deep love for them. You know what I mean?
Right.
Even though they might not be around me no more.
Yeah.
But the feeling was always in.
I think that is tough because I think there's a piece of you that, like, if they show that they're trying, like, make an effort, I feel like that kind of erases and, all right, you're back to unconditional. Like, not that you were conditional, but it's just like you're holding on, you're really doing a good job. But if they're like moving towards you or really not showing effort, it's kind of like they went from unconditional now to conditional, and then eventually it's now just what's the word with the extinct.
That makes sense.
That's what ends up happening. If you don't have lack of engagement, then it just kind of just depletes over time. You know what I'm saying? And then granted, depending on like what stasis that they are in their life, you know, it's different. Like real quick, like Wendy Williams, she's not doing well at all, and like people like she just kind of disappeared. And there was like a documentary of like what she was going through, and it's like not before she went from like being hated to now people are showing her a little more like empathy, sympathy, yeah, sympathy and empathy, because you know it can happen to anybody. You know what I'm saying? So it kind of changes your perspective, and it gives more of like, because it actually now starts to explain some of her behavior as like the show was going, like getting rocky and whatnot, and it's just like, oh wow, like it helps you to understand that you need to allow people some grace, and give them an opportunity to redeem themselves. So it's like if they're going through things, maybe you could put that unconditional love on freeze, and they're not doing anything bad to you. It's just that maybe there's a point in their life where you could be like, all right, we could freeze that account for now until you get back to it,
Good points, yo.
That's it.
Good points. I love it.
I don't think you gotta freeze it though.
Do you want to thaw it out?
Nah, because you could still love someone unconditionally, but just not be around them. You get me?
Yeah. It's like you just wish for the best.
Yeah, I don't think like you have to love everyone you're around. You get me?
Right.
There's some people I'll probably never talk to again. I'm always loved them again.
Right.
It's just morally or like how we live doesn't match up.
Right. It's like when you grow, it's like
what we had is always gonna be what we had.
But is that unconditional love, or is it just?
I think that's the definition of unconditional love. Because you're not bringing nothing to me. You're not here to my life, so you're not entertaining me. You're not doing nothing for me. You're not doing like anything. But I will still always love you.
that's like me with like certain movies, like Jason Statham. Like I love like watching his movies, like unconditionally. Like it's like no real talk, no cut camera, no cut. So I will always go see his movies. So it's just like it doesn't matter what happens watching this movie.
This guy brought Jason.
I just brought Jason Statham. Yo, check out The Beekeeper. It's an amazing movie.
That's hilarious. That's fine.
I'm just saying, because people watch movies, but you gotta tell me, don't make me bring out Timothy, man. Don't make me bring out Timothy.
Yeah, but unconditional love.
That's unconditionally.
Strong. That's strong.
That is strong. But you watch his movies.
Yeah, but unconditional love. That's different.
No, come on, man. There's that love. There's a love for things.
Timothy Olyphant. Anyway, y'all gotta know.
I'm just saying, man.
Good actor. Check on. But no, unconditional love, nah. That's what.
I ain't changing what I'm saying. Jason Statham, everybody.
Definitely turn that into a clip.
Just turn this to a movie review.
Yeah, like Zain had to.
I just had to throw it in. Check out The Beekeeper, everybody. Hashtag ad.
Had to throw it in there. But all right, that was interesting. That was fun. What y'all think? Y'all fun?
Yeah,
all right.
That was good. I like that last question a lot.
Right?
Thank you.
Makes you think.
Yeah, but I'm like, and I want people to think even deeper with it.
Yeah, now you
like,
got me. I'm be driving home really
bro.
quick. I might crash my car.
Right?
It took me a long time to really. Yeah, no, you're not.
Not in this one.
It took me a long time to get to that point to even question it, to be inquisitive about it, because I think for the most part you think, oh yeah, I've been loved. This person loved me, but then it's like you got to really think about it.
Did you earn that? Are you constantly earning the love, or is it like if you don't do certain things, all of a sudden the love is off the table?
You can start taking it real like deep with it, saying like, all right, well, yeah, my mom might love me unconditionally, but the condition is because I'm her son.
Exactly.
Right.
There's
But
so
even
many, like,
then-
But that's like a little. Then you're getting it way too like misconstrued.
Right.
'Cause then you're taking it a little too wacky.
Right. Because not every parent be loving their kids.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
100%.
And you like, what? That's crazy.
Yep.
And then there's parents that they love their kid regardless of what they be doing.
Yeah, like 1,000%. Like
You could take it so many different ways. This topic,
yeah,
Right.
literally.
it's definitely something just to think about, and even I want people to think about. It might change the way that they love people. So I want people to think about, is there people that, you unconditionally love someone, you say you unconditionally love them, but does your actions align with your vocal expression of that? Like, are you living every single day in the real world that you love this person? Like, a lot of times, there's like people, you say you love them and you say you unconditionally love them, but your actions towards them are completely opposite. So
Right.
do you really unconditionally love them? Because back to before, actions speak louder than words.
Right. I don't care what you say, honestly. If your actions are the opposite what you're saying, that's the truth to me.
Yeah.
Like, because there's people who are like, they love to flatter you with fucking like just beautiful butterflies and love and all this, and then their actions is like, that's not what I'm seeing. I don't feel it. You saying it, but I don't feel it. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
So it's that, and then when they bring that up, they're like, "What do you mean? I told you blank." Yeah, but
Actions again.
Actions.
Actions speak louder than words. A lot of people could say they love you and all that, and you could get the hugs, you can get the this, you can get the messages.
I feel
you
like
can
that's
get the
how
gifts.
us men evaluate love, is actions. You think, right? Like we you could say anything to us, like, yeah, that all talk is cheap, but we want to see some action. You know what I'm saying? But like, I feel like that's why I was asking, like when Jackie, when she gets a chance to say something, or like any like woman perspective, be like, hey, like would you evaluate it? Is it based on the actions, or is it like what they say? Like how are you unconditionally loved? Is it through action, or is it more so through words?
I think everybody when they really dig into it, would be actions.
It's actions, right? It's like, oh, she made me food. I didn't even ask for it. Or my friend, he gave me $20 because he knew I was struggling. Or like, like certain things like that. You're like, those are more actions. But if people say something and they don't be doing nothing, I feel like that's what solidifies that love. Is like you said something and then you provided action and you execute it. You know what I'm saying? Because what's love without the action? Boom.
Ain't shit.
Oh, camera done, but
Whatever, one of them.
whatever, one of them. Nah, this is the only one that live it right now. It's on? Yeah.
Which one's dead? That one? Damn, they hate. It's because
They
all the
hate
fire.
of it. It'll straight up heat.
It's because all the fire.
Just animate me.
Statham comment.
Yeah, that was
Really?
No.
No,
Damn it.
that'd have been funny. All right,
That's
for
blinking.
his life.
Yeah. So that's it.
all right.
That was an hour.
Adios, people.
All right,
Have
and
fun.
go see Beekeeper. Peace out.
Sneaking that little movie.